Hello, Steve White, Trickboy 89 for Steve Arts 89. The other thing that they mentioned on Star Trek First Contact Day was that the documentary Woman in Motion was going to be streaming on Paramount Plus. Now, I mean, I've known my whole life about this sort of story about with Nichelle, but a lot of fans apparently didn't. Basically, after Star Trek finished in the 70s, Nichelle was either recruited or just found her way into NASA and was part of a giant push to recruit minorities for NASA. So she was part of recruiting the first Black, Asian, and Latino people and women into NASA, and she was a big part of that. They basically used Uhura and Nichelle to do this, and it's really, I mean, it's really kind of remarkable when you look at, I mean, aside from what happened with Hidden Figures behind the scenes with the mathematicians and the scientists, so far as the actual astronauts and that, it was very much a white boys club, and they wouldn't let the girls in, they wouldn't let anyone of colour in. And at some point, people wanted to change this, and Nichelle said, you know, where are my people? And, you know, as she says in the preview, like, you know, if you let me open that door, you're going to see through and everyone's going to, you know, come through. And she really did make a lot of changes. And, I mean, like I said, I knew about this story. I'd seen photos of her. I know there's a recruitment video and stuff, and I watched that back in the day. And it was just part of Star Trek. It was just one of the things that happened in the 70s while they were waiting to do the motion picture. It really needed to be paid some real attention and some real respect, and it looks like this movie is doing that. I don't know how long the documentary is. I'm assuming it's at least an hour, and it was just nice to see them acknowledging it. And there was a panel with Raffi from Picard, and I think the actress who played the Mariner's mother, the captain on Lower Decks, and of course Sonequa Martin Green, and the girl who played the synth in Picard. I should remember their actresses' names. Oops, sorry, no disrespect intended. But it's just really great. I mean, I was tearing up a bit when I'm watching the preview because I've met Nichelle 3 times. She's amazing. She was my favourite Star Trek character. I mean, I love Spock, but there was Spock and Uhura. Well, I mean, Spock was Spock, but Uhura was fabulous. You know, she was a diva. I loved her. I want to be her. And she was the first Star Trek actor I ever met. She was the first convention I went to because I'd never done anything like that before, and the idea of going to a convention was really scary for some reason. But when I heard she was coming to Australia, it was like I had to go. And I was lucky enough to meet her 3 times and have a couple of little private chats with her. I was really lucky. She's just amazing. I love her. She's next to like Jeannie. She's one of my Barbara Eden. She's one of my favourite people, and one of the people I sort of had to meet before I died, basically. And I'm very lucky to have met her a couple of times, and I've met Barbara Eden as well. And I mean, the documentary doesn't show everything. It's kind of short. It basically just explains the importance of this, that she opened up the door, and now we have a diverse people at NASA. It basically showed the world that people of colour weren't just pretty faces. They were intelligent. They could actually do the work just as well as any man or white woman or whatever the stereotype was that astronauts and scientists had to be. That somehow there was this idea that they couldn't do that or something. I don't get that because I grew up in an era where this has already happened. So, but the idea that they made it happen and that they were there before, looking at this world, this depiction of this world of being all white and saying, this is wrong, where are my people, like Nichelle said, and then just opening the door and bringing them all in. And now we are in this world where that's just normal now. That you look at science, you look at a science show and documentaries and stuff and different industries, and it's all different people. It's not just white people. It's not just like the elite sort of, you know, boys club and white boys club. So it's just great to see. And I'm glad it's getting this attention. I don't know why it's only streaming on one day. They made it sound like it was streaming on one day, and I can't remember the date. And of course my mouse is not working with me. But I I heard about the documentary. I knew it was coming. I'm hoping to see it because I don't know where else it's streaming. I haven't worked out where it's streaming in Australia. I'd like to own. I'd buy a copy of it because just to see Nichelle back in the day and to see her interviews about that time and all that. Because Nichelle has dementia and she's better with the past. So she kind of was doing conventions. Her last one was planned to be May. I don't know if it went through because of COVID. I heard it was, but I never really found out if she's sort of retired now or if she's waiting for COVID to end to sort of do a final convention, or if she did it. It sort of went under the radar if she did. But I mean, she's still she's her career's sort of over. She's not sort of doing interviews and that now. She's sort of not well, and it's kind of sad. We sort of saw it happening. People who saw her in conventions knew she was sick before it was announced or anything. But and I'm just glad they made the film. I'm just glad she's getting the attention she deserves. We always knew that she'd done this, but it sort of wasn't a mainstream media. It wasn't sort of like it wasn't like a documentary to tell everyone. It was just something Star Trek fans knew. So I'm glad that it's getting, I guess, the mainstream attention that's going to get now that it's this proper documentary and it's going to be like streaming and shown and everything. So I'm just happy. I just wanted to share that I saw this and it was great and I loved it. And I really wish that people like Nichelle got the credit they deserve, and that not everyone does. But she's at least getting one documentary on this part of her life to validate that and celebrate that. So yeah, just want to comment on it. Just made me happy, made me smile, made me almost cry. Yeah, I'm done. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. You know what you think. Bye.